Hello, crafty friends. This is Debbie with Make It With Me. I had a lot of questions about how to make this card from the folks, my crafty peeps in my group. So I thought I'd do a quick video. I'll try to make it as quick as I can. I probably will not do the coloring on the video, or will speed it up dramatically because I don't think anyone wants to just sit and watch me color. But I'm going to try to recreate this card with a few little minor changes, and I'll just kind of share, but it'll pretty much look like this. So the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of go through the supplies. This is going to be my card front, which is going to be a little bit smaller than a 4.5 by 4.25 by 5.5 inch A2 size card. This is my card base, which will be a top fold. And then I have already die cut the first layer. So I'll have a little bit of white showing and then my black background. And then, and what I used for that is to cut my black paper is this largest stitched rectangle die from Stampin' Up. That is my black layer. And then after I get everything on my card front, I will be using the next to the largest to cut that out. So one of the first things I'll do when I stamp this is make sure that I'm stamping within that, because I'll be cutting the rest of that out. And I will save this little white piece and I'll tell you why later. But so I just want to make sure that I get my little girl and her furry friend in the right area before I start the project. So I'm going to be using the Hey Girlfriend stamp set. And I'll be coloring this little girl here and the little puppy. And then for my sentiment, I wanted to make this a birthday card. So I'm going to use this Approaching Perfection stamp set, which was another one of my free sets that I got with my celebration order. So this was a free set that you can earn. And if you want more information about that, just let me know. So I'm going to be using this sentiment. I think, unless I change my mind, we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Oh, I am going to be using 2 Stampin' Up! Inks for my background blending, and that will be the Melon Mambo, and which will be in the center, lightly done, and the Rich Razzleberry around the edges of my stencil. And I'm going to be using this same stencil, which is also Stampin' Up! And it kind of looks like a little brick wall. And I don't know that this is available anymore. I will see. And if it is, I'll post it in the video, in the description of the video. So let's go ahead and get started. I will first take my Memento ink, and this is an alcohol ink friendly ink in black. And I am going to alcohol color these with my alcohol markers. So I'm just going to stamp that. And again, I just want to make sure that I get that in this area. So I am not going to try to stamp around that metal die. I'm just going to kind of get it there and then pull my die out. And just make sure I've got my little girl. She doesn't have to be perfectly next to that. So I'm just going to stamp her out. So there's my little girl and my puppy. And then I am going to do a little something different with these balloons. I'm always afraid that I'm going to get this little string down in her hair, and actually I have done that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of just plain old painter's tape, and I'm going to get that as straight as I can, and then I'm just going to mask off that string. Now, one thing you want to be sure and not make a mistake and do is forget to take your tape off before you stamp it. So what I'm going to do is just ink that balloon up, because I want a few balloons above her. And see, I almost did it. So pull your tape off before you stamp. And so all that I should have is my little balloon. And then that's it. I don't have the string. Now, you'll waste a little tape doing this, but I just buy this painter's tape from the Dollar Tree. And you know, you can buy the crafty masking, or the crafty tape, but it's a good bit more expensive, and I don't use it all that much. I'd use this painter's tape for so much. I mean, and I'll show you a little trick to make sure when you're using it to, golly, my hand's shaking a little bit today. And so one more. Show you a little trick sometime on how you can use that with your dies without sticking and tearing your paper. Okay, I'm just going to pull that off. And I think I'll put one more balloon. No, I think I want it going this way. It's going to almost touch the other two. Yeah. And then what I'll do is I'll take a ink pen, just a fine liner, and I'll draw my own little strings on there. So that's all of our stamping. How simple was that? Now, I ran out of masking paper, and again, I don't buy the crafty kind of masking paper, really. I bought this. I got this idea from Jennifer McGuire, who is a very well-known YouTuber, and she buys this Avery removable label paper. And it's designed to be able to put removable labels on packages. I can't talk today. Sorry about that. But this is what I use for masking. So I've already got my mask because I saved my one from the other card, because you can sometimes, if you don't saturate them with ink too much, you can reuse them. So I'm just going to show you how I would do this. But I'm not going to do it because I'm going to go ahead and save a little time and reuse the mask that I have, but I will save this one because I'll cut it out, and that way I'll have my masks all ready for the next time I want to do this. You don't even have to work. See how that's lighter? No big deal, because all it is a mask. And what a mask is it's just something you can temporarily cover up your stamped image so that you can put other colors behind it without, disturbing any of that. So you could do this one of two ways. I could either go ahead and color this now and then mask it off, or I can go ahead and mask it, do my blending, and then color it. And I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and color it now, because if I were to really mess this up, and I've already done all that ink blending, then I would be just really upset about that. So I've already got, like I said, I saved all of my masks that I used before. So I've got a mask for all 3 of my balloons, and you'll see they've already got ink on them from the last card, but I'll just peel them and stick them again. I've already got this mask for my little girl, and I've already got this mask for my little puppy. So you can save those. I even have another one left in here. I accidentally tore my little kitty cat and my other little girl, and so I'll have to redo those next time. But I can reuse these once or twice, not forever. But anyway, so I'm going to be using my alcohol markers, and these are the color combinations that I'll be using. And so I think I'm going to just start with the balloons, and I'm going to use a 3-color combination. And so I'm going to start with my very lightest color, which is going to be this R11. I think that's my lightest. Yeah. And so I'm just going to color in the entire balloon. Let's see, I'm going to make sure I keep my hand where you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to color in my entire balloon with my lightest color. And I will tell you all, I am certainly no colorist. I mean, I watch YouTubers that just, oh my gosh, I just hope one day to be as good as they are at coloring. So I'm just going to go through this, and so that's my lightest color, and I'm not going to make you watch me color all of these. So now I'm just going to take my darkest color. I'm just going to kind of go around the edges of the balloon, because since this is a round image, I kind of want it to keep that round look. So this is my medium color, and I'm just going to kind of blend that into my darkest. And sometimes you may have to go, back over these. I'm going to go with my medium. And then I think I'm going to add just a little more dark, just to make that a little more round. So I want to keep my lightest color in the center since this is a round image. And there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. Now I forgot where my medium color is. Let's see. I think it's this one. I'm going to take and just kind of flick a little bit of that out. Just pull that darker color out a little bit on both sides. And see how it kind of just blends that color. Hope y'all can see this. And then I'll go back to my lightest color, and I'm just going to kind of lightly go over that. So you can see now I've got my, the darker shadows around the balloon. And then as that soaks into the paper, it's going to dry a little bit more. And I've dropped the lid to my marker, and I don't know where it went. So I'm going to take a chance and hope I don't get a mess on everything, because I don't think I'm going to be using that color again. Yeah. Okay, so my next balloon is going to be blue. And I'm going to use a 3-color combination on this. And so again, I'm going to start with my lighter color, then do with my darker, and then go in with my middle color. Okay, so this is my lightest color. And again, I'm just going to color that whole balloon in with that light color. Okay. And then I'll start with my darker color. I'm going to do this one a little different just to show you about this little flicking method. Hope you can see that. So I'm just going to take my tip and just kind of make little flicking motions with it. And I'm going to do that on both sides of the balloon. Just turn my paper. And again, this is my darkest color. I'm just going to kind of make little flicking motions there. You know, I can't reiterate enough that I am not a great colorist, but I do enjoy it. And these markers have that chisel tip, but I'm using the brush tip end of it. So then I'm just going to take my middle color, and I'm going to start there and just kind of flip that on out a little bit further. And you can see the color difference there. This one's a little bit darker. Hey, that kind of matches my nails, which need to be redone right now. Maybe I'll try to fit that into my weekend. So there's my medium color. And then I'm just going to kind of go over that center with my lighter color and blend that in. And as that dries, you'll see that those harsh edges will begin to fade. And if you go over your color too much with this lighter color, it'll actually start taking away color. That's kind of how alcohol markers work. And it's a learning curve, believe me. And I've improved. I mean, I can't say that I'm the greatest at it, but I've watched a ton of alcohol marker coloring videos. And so I've improved. I'm getting better. And then my last balloon I'm going to do, and it's going to be a red blend. And some of these look more pink, but they're actually pretty deep. And I'm going to use a 4-color blend on this balloon. And this is also the same color I'm going to use on my little girl's dress. So once again, I'm going to start with my lightest color. And if you all have any balloons or just real simple images like this that you can practice on, it's great practice. That's what I did. I just took a piece. Now, I will tell you, paper matters when you're coloring with alcohol markers. If you're buying the real inexpensive plain cardstock, you're not going to get a really good result. And I know a lot of people say that, and I didn't believe it at first myself, but I promise you it's true. I know that the Stampin' Up! Whisper White paper did really good with alcohol markers, which it's gone away and being replaced with another white paper. And I haven't tried it yet because I had some of this left. And if you don't have anything like that, which everybody on YouTube talks about the Nina Solar White. I will tell you, it's quite expensive, but depending on how much alcohol coloring, and you can use it for more than just alcohol coloring. I mean, you can color with color pencils, anything like that, really. I hope I'm staying in frame here where you can see where my hand is. I'm so bad about covering up my image while I'm coloring. So that's my second color. So I'm actually going to have two medium colors, and I'll try to keep my markers in the right order because I will get confused what colors I'm actually doing. This one's going to be just a tad bit lighter. I'm just going to come out on those edges a little bit. And I'm going to leave that little space in the middle because that's where I'm going to make my center color just kind of blend. And I want to leave that little bit of, you know, lighter color just because, see how it makes it look like more of a round image. And as that dries, it's going to blend even more. That's the thing about alcohol markers and why you want good paper, because they will bleed. And so if you get too close to the edges, but there's a little trick for that too. And I do it all the time. If I go outside of the lines a little bit, you can take just like a white gel pen. And I also have this Stampin' Up! Chalk marker that works really well. And I'll show that to you. Like if I go out the lines, I can just kind of go around the edges with that and it'll cover it right up and you'll never see it. So I'm going to go ahead and continue coloring, but I'm going to just kind of speed this up and turn on a little music. And so I don't think it'd be a really long video if I just continue coloring at this pace, and because I'm very slow. And so I am going to just speed that up a little bit. So hope you'll stay with me. Okay, so now that all my coloring is done, I'm going to start with the masking. And like I said, I'm going to reuse these. All you have to do is just peel that release paper when you do your mask. You can just save that and stick it back to it and save it and get a couple more uses out of it, 1 or 2. So first thing I'm going to do is take my masking, and like I said, I've already used these once, but I think they'll still be good. Oh, I got that crooked. Let's try that again. So I'm going to cover up my little balloons. And it doesn't matter which is which because they're all the same, and I'm not worried about the black part because the ink's not going to really affect that anyway. And you notice I haven't drawn my lines yet. I'll do that after I do my stenciling. And then I'm going to cover up my little girl, my young lady I should say. And I do want to make sure I get that one really good and straight. It's not all that hard. I mean, if you get a little bit of the black, it's not a big deal. Maybe I'm going at this from the wrong angle here. Let's try this. There we go. Use 2 hands. Okay, so cover up her little legs. Peel that one back up a little. Make sure I get that leg covered real good because that is a light color. Oh goodness. Okay, I think that'll work. Okay, and then I'll cover up my little doggy. Okay, so there is your mask. And what that's going to do is protect my colored image when I use my stencil to make my little background. Now I am going to try to place this in a way that has a little bit of my darker color or something under her so she doesn't look like she's just in thin air. I'm going to flip this over. Now I do this one of 2 ways sometimes because, let's see if that's right. That'll work. Okay, you can either, sometimes I use a temporary adhesive and put it on the back of this and stick it so that my paper doesn't move. But probably the easiest way is just to turn it over and then take a couple pieces of tape. And again, I'm just going to use my painter's tape and stick that to the back of the stencil, and then I'll just flip that over, and then there's my stencil on top. So I'm going to first do my darker outer edge color in the Rich Razzleberry. And then I am going to have just a kind of a paper towel, or I've got these just a regular paper towel, and then I've got these kind of thin like dish mat things. I bought these at the Dollar Tree and cut them into pieces, but I can use it to clean my brush off a little bit. So alright, so I'm just going to take my blending brush. Now Stampin' Up! Has new ones, and the bristles are white. These are just kind of what they call makeup brushes. These are just the ones from Amazon, and they're okay, but I think I'm going to switch to the ones that have white bristles. That way I can have a color for each of my color schemes. Like I can have one for my purples, one for my, or maybe blues and purples if it's a lighter blue, my yellows, my greens, my pinks, and that way I don't have to clean them so much, because like I said, and I've told you all this before, I have some hand issues. So I'm just going to rub that on my ink pad, tap it off a little bit, and then I'm just going to start going in a circle. I'm going to apologize in advance if my table moves around a little bit, but you can see that kind of going on the paper. I think I just stuck my finger in that, so I'm going to make sure I don't leave prints. And I'm just going to keep going, get it really good and inked up. Probably going to make that just a tad bit darker and get a little more ink. And you can see I'm just hitting that outer edge of the paper. I'm going right over top of that mask. I'm not worried about my image because I've got it covered up. And I want that to be kind of good and dark. I might darken this one up on this bottom part a little bit. One of my really good friends, her favorite color is purple. So I'm probably going to send this card to her. When she saw this card that I made, she loved it. So Janet, if you're watching this one's going to be for you. Okay, so I think that gets my darker color pretty good. You think? I think I like it. Alright, so I'm just going to clean this off a little bit. Just kind of rub it around on this paper towel. And then let's do our lighter color. Now this one I'm not going to bear down as hard or get as much ink because I want it to be really light. And I'm just going to start in the middle here and just kind of start blending out. Because like I said, I want this to blend in with the other color, but I want it to be really light and subtle because it'll give kind of that little, I don't know, I guess you could say kind of a halo look. I don't want my paper, I don't want any of my paper, the white to be showing, but I just want that to be really light pink and just blend into my purple. I guess I could have done her dress and her bow and things in pink, but I don't know, I'm just really liking that red color combination. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So let's lay that aside. I'll clean that later. Close my ink and let's take this off of the stencil. So now I'm just going to peel this paper off. And I won't reuse that because if I leave it on my desk, I will certainly forget that it has ink on it. And then I'm not going to clean the stencil right now, but that ink, you can just take a baby wipe or just spray it with a little bit of water and use paper towel and the ink will come right off. They're just plastic. Okay, now instead of trying to use my fingernails, I think I'm going to use my little Stampin' Up! Tool here because I forget this all the time, but this, you can switch the end from pokey to this little tool and that will pick that mask right up for me once you get it started up under the end. So there's my one balloon. And there's number 2. And you know what? These still feel actually pretty sticky. I think I might be able to use them one more time before I have to do another one. Because I do not have dies for this stamp set, so I have to fussy cut it. But it's not that bad. Not that hard at all. Oh my goodness. Look at the magic. I love it. So cute. And there's my little puppy. See, that just peels right up, doesn't damage your paper. Voila. I love it. Okay, but I can't leave well enough alone. I got to do one more thing here. Oh, I guess I have to flip that back around. Too long to fit in there. So, since this is such a small image, I think I'm going to use this gel pen to do some of my highlights. So I think I'm just going to highlight this little doggy a little bit. And let's see, I'm going to put little freckles on his face. And then I'll just put a little line there. And then on her little flower, I think I might, what do you all think? Should I make that dress kind of polka dotted? Oh, now I'm looking at that, I'm thinking I might. I just love all the neat little things you can do with a gel pen. I think I'm just going to highlight my flowers a little bit. Just a little bit of white. And then maybe dot the inside of that flower. Just a little hint. And then maybe a little hint here on her headband. It's a little white line. Oh, I don't know if I want to do that or not. Okay, so then I'm going to just kind of do the little thing on my balloons here. Probably could have used my thicker Stampin' Up top marker on the balloons. They're a little bit bigger, but I've already started with this one now, so I'm just going to leave it alone so that I don't mess it up. No, I think since this background is so busy, I'll just leave it and just put a few little highlights on her dress just to indicate just a little stuff going down here. I do think her belt would be cute with some little dots on it. You get that? Ugh. I do think I'm going to do this, y'all. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to put some little dots right at the bottom of her dress, just right along the hem. And then maybe some up here just around the neck. There. I love it. That turned out so cute. Okay, so there is our finished card front. So now I'm going to take my little die here, and I know it seems a shame to cut part of this away, but I'm going to, because I want it to fit perfectly on top of this black piece with just a little hint of the black showing. But first, now I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So I'm going to pause for a moment, and I'm going to take this over to my die cutting machine and cut this out right there, this size. Maybe come over just a tad because I want to put a sentiment right there. So I'm just going to tape that down with a little bit of tape, and I'll take it over to my die cutting machine, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have got my little die. I'm just going to pull this tape off. Now, I will tell you, I'm so sorry about that. This painter's tape, if you just stick it to your shirt a little bit or whatever you're wearing a few times and take a little bit of the stickiness away from it, it won't tear your paper. And you know what? I may have forgotten to do that with this one. I hope it's not going to tear my ink right there. I thought I had done that with both of those. If it's behind the die, I don't care because that's coming off anyway. Ooh, it did too. Look at that. I should have, if you just kind of take it and stick it to your skin a little bit a few times, take away the little the stickiness, or maybe your shirt or whatever you're wearing, it'll do that. So, okay. So let's go ahead and just pop that out of there. Oh my goodness. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I thought I had not cut it all the way through. It looks like there's one side that didn't cut through all the way. Wonder how I did that. I must not have had my sandwich tight enough. Okay, that's alright. We can still save this. I love it when mistakes or little things happen on camera because I don't give up on cards easily. So I'm just going to cut it right there. As long as I don't cut through my little stitched edge, it'll be just fine. Get it down there too. Maybe that my cutting plates are getting a little worn out. I have been using them for quite a while, so I'll just trim that off with my scissors. There, perfect. No problem. Okay, so let's put this together. First thing I'm going to do is get my other little sentiment. Now, since this is so busy, I am going to use just a really simple happy birthday, and I was going to put it this way, but I think now I kind of like it crooked. Since this is kind of a wonky card anyway, I think I am going to do it. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I should, no, I'm going to do black. I started to do it in the rich raspberry, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that up in a really good vibrant black color, which this VersaFine is awesome for that. And I want it to be, I think I want it to be a little crooked. I think I'm going to do it just like that. Voila. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, I'm going to let that dry just a minute. This one actually dries pretty quick. So while that's drying, let's go ahead and get our card base out here. And I'm going to go ahead and stick down my black piece. You know, sometimes when I'm doing a smaller black piece, I just save that outer edge, and the only thing I put is just the frame on there. But I'm going to get this on as straight as I can. Try to leave about the same amount on all sides. That's pretty close. And then this one is going to sit right on top of there. And I think that's just going to be really cute. What do you think? We could even add some little blingy things. Oh, and you know what? Before I forget, I better go ahead and get my little balloon strings drawn on here. I'm going to kind of make those a little blacker. And these, because all they really have to do is just go behind her down to her hair, and that works fine. And I may even, she doesn't really have anything to hold them, so I think I'm just going to leave them like that. Yep, I think I will. Now, kind of probably need a little something. She still looks kind of like she's floating, but I don't know. I still like it. I still like it. So let's go ahead and attach that piece. Oh. Oh my goodness. I tried to do this yesterday, and my video editing software was not working. So that's why I am just not fooling with voiceovers. I'm just not good at it, and I don't want to spend all those hours doing that. Okay, and there we go. There's our finished card. How cute is that? You could use that for a teenager, a little one. Honestly, I would use this even for one of the friends my age. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon. I'll post links for some of the products that I used. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with me or email me at makeitwithmenow@gmail.com. And my link for Stampin' Up! Products is deborahsmith.stampinup.net. Have a great rest of the weekend.